Hi, it's the movie guy Star Raisin there, um, from MemberStreet.com, and I wanted to talk today about comic book collecting. This is the latest batch of comics that I picked up about a month ago, actually, and a lot of Bronze Age and Silver Age. I recommend that for modern comic book collecting, investment purposes, only collect Bronze Age on back. That's like anything from 1985 to 1970, and then of course Silver Age 1956 to 1970, and then anything before 1956 is Golden Age. And then anything before I think 1933 is what's called Platinum Age. But the Platinum Age and Bronze Age comics are kind of loosely defined. And then there's a whole new category called Copper Age, which apparently is 1985 to 1991. But Overstreet has added this classification, so I think it's going to stick. But pretty much anything modern age, I would only collect if you like it. But modern age comics tend to be overprinted, actually mostly overprinted, and usually have very little value unless it's like, say, the first appearance of Deadpool or something like that, or an alternate cover. But for the most part, it's for investment purposes, stick to Silver, Golden Age, and Bronze Age comics. But this one here is not a particularly expensive book, but it was in high grade, and Marvel or Astonishing Tales, and I just love the cover. It's like classic It cover. It's just a monster versus monster. And I got a really high grade Spider-Man in near mint condition. Who knows? Maybe I'll have Stan Lee sign it when I go to New Orleans Comic Con this weekend. Another Astonishing Tales. Deathlock. I always thought he was an interesting character. Kind of a low grade Dracula, but still a fun comic. Very solid, very good condition. Again, like maybe very solid VG, I would say, on this comic. Another Tomb of Dracula, which I wish I could pick up more of those. These comics, anything Bronze Age on back, is actually becoming incredibly hard to find. And so Bronze Age, I think, right now is very undervalued. There's a Bronze Age Iron Man in high grade. And I'd say like very fine near mint. And another high grade Bronze Age Iron Man. I'd say like in fine, very fine. There's an Iron Man. I love this cover. It's one of my favorite covers. It's the Jack Kirby cover. And it's an awesome book. And it's actually in pretty great shape. It's in like very fine condition. Here's another Bronze Age Iron Man. There's I don't know, the modern comics, the way they do the covers and the art seems so overly slicked over. It's so slicked over and so overly commercialized that it lacks the beauty of like Bronze Age, Silver Age, and Golden Age comics. I mean, like, look at this cover. It's awesome. Awesome Iron Man cover. Another, I'd say, very fine condition Bronze Age Iron Man comic. Iron Man versus Hulk. Interesting, more interesting covers here. This is one of my favorite covers right here. It's very, very dramatic. Iron Man, who would ever thought I would get killed at a comic book convention? It's just, I love the humor in that. Apparently in 1972, comic book conventions were already pretty big back then. So you're getting a little bit of first-hand history pulp culture by buying these books, I would say. These are not reprints. These are the original from the early 70s. Really nice. Again, another early Iron Man. And I accidentally bought duplicates of these. Who knows? Maybe I'll sell one of these on eBay. And I really hope one day they do a Mandarin versus Iron Man movie. I think Mandarin is a very interesting villain. I don't think he's outdated. He has rings of power, powered alien technology. And I think he was always like the primary arch nemesis of Iron Man. And I love the Mandarin comic ones. I've got some. I'm going back older now. It's a Silver Age. This one, unfortunately, has got some writing on the cover, but it's still in really good shape. I'd say a very good, fine. If it wasn't for the writing, I would say it was in fine, very fine, but the writing, I think, takes it down a notch. And but it's still, like, as you can see, it's the art where it counts is still in really, there's still vibrant colors, still some mint gloss. It's not all banged up. It's an interesting book. First, John Romita Spider-Man. And this one I may CGC, although I don't know. I'd say very fine near mint, a very high if it wasn't for a couple little minor creases, but it's still borderline near mint, very fine near mint, I would say. A very high grade early Silver Age Avengers. And this is defect free. It's first appearance of Bolton Man. I'd say very good fine. Excellent condition. I mean, it's basically the cover's not banged up. It's pretty tight on the spine. It's in really great shape for a comic that dates back to like the mid '60s. And this is one of my all-time favorites. It's got a newsstand stamp on it, but that doesn't detract from the grade because this was very common. The newsstands would stamp the date, and basically first appearance of Mary Jane Watson, and it's got a little tiny tear at the bottom. Otherwise, oh man. Otherwise, this comic would be almost like a near mint, but it's probably, I would say, more closer to fine because of the little tiny tear, like maybe less than a quarter of an inch. Maybe fine, very fine. And there is some wrinkling on the spine with that too, so I would definitely actually come to think that I would say fine, or in fine condition. It's a fine condition. And a really nice, very good condition Tales of Suspense, Iron Man in the old golden armor. This is from the early 60s, getting back to early Silver Age. Uh, Marvel Comics didn't exist before 1962 anyway. So you're getting back to some of the earliest Marvel comics here. It's only semi-key issues that I have here. I can't afford key issues because they're too expensive right now, but well, hopefully maybe one day. This is a semi-key issue. This is Tales of Suspense 35, and it's a first Watchmen prototype. As you can see here, the character looks very similar to Watchmen, although he's called Zach Core. Zach Core is basically a Watchmen prototype. Basically, they would take this character, redesign it as the Watchmen. So this is actually a key issue and very underrated. This has still got cover gloss. Again, I would say this is like maybe it's got a little tiny corner missing, unfortunately. I'd say a very solid, very good find. And this is Tales of Suspense 21. I just got it because it was freaking old, and it was in pretty good shape. I'd say this is in solid, good, very good. And it almost looks like, I know it's not classified as such, but in my opinion, this is kind of a Titanium Man prototype. X-Men 22. Get it out of the light there. This is a solid, very good, or a solid VG. And X-Men issue 12. First appearance of the Juggernaut. I'd say that's a very good find. This is a very high grade. I forgot about. I misarranged these. But back into borderline Silver Age, late Silver Age, early Bronze Age. Avengers 74. I would say this is actually in near mint condition. That's why I bought it. I got a good deal on it. I may CGC this or get Stanley to autograph it. A fine condition Fantastic Four 74. Very, very nice shape. No real creases in it, but you can tell, especially when you take it out of the bag, that it's been read, but it's been handled with care. I'd say it's a very solid fine. Plus, and this is a very solid VG Fantastic Four 78. Maybe a very good find. And that's all my comics for today. I'll be posting more soon. But see you again in 25 billion years. Please rate, subscribe, comment on the video so I can see how I'm doing.